Mother Durgadevi. My name is Ellen, and I'll be correcting this task 2 for you today. Let's take a look at what you've sent to us. It's about young people and if they should work before they go to university. Here's what you wrote. A section of society believes that it is effective for the pupil to gain work experience before commencing higher education. In contrast, others tend to disagree with this approach. I firmly believe that gaining practical knowledge will be an added advantage for students when they go to university for studies. All right. For the most part, I like this. There are a couple of pieces of vocabulary that I would change here. For example, a section of society doesn't feel particularly natural, nor does commencing. Yeah, we use these words, but not necessarily together and not necessarily in this context. So something that would have flowed a little more naturally for me would have been some people believe that it is effective for the pupil to gain work before entering higher education. I think that would have been really nice and natural. Or beginning higher education, but not really commencing. Let's continue. Gaining work experience before the commencement of college studies has. Now, why is it has? Because this isn't your subject. This is gaining work experience. It's a noun phrase, but that itself is your subject, and it is a singular subject. So your verb has to be singular. Gaining work experience before the commencement of college studies has a plethora of benefits for scholars. Firstly, they will learn to be independent and can be able to manage their own financial needs. Besides, they can even save money for their tuition fees. Moreover, apart from finance, the work experience can teach them to tackle difficult situations independently, which will be helpful for their studies. Okay, so there are a few things I've noticed here. I've noticed that you have 3 body paragraphs. Not typically a big fan. Usually we recommend 2 body paragraphs. Another thing that I think needs a lot of work here is development. You've got ideas. You say you have this firstly here, you got this besides, you've got this moreover. So you've got 3 different ideas here. But what you have not done is you have not supported these ideas. So what would be a better idea is for you to focus on 2 of these at most, and then just develop them. And what I mean by that is add some examples, add some explanation, add maybe a research study, something. Okay, so let me show you what I mean. Firstly, they will learn to be independent and can be able to manage their own financial needs. This is because they will have learned how to be responsible for their income while they are working, and this allows them to gain life skills that they can carry with them into their university studies. So that's an example of support, and this is the kind of thing you need to be doing. Okay, so another thing you could do, besides, they can even save money for their tuition fees. For example, a recent study by Harvard University showed that students who worked before attending college had an average of $10,000 of savings because of their work experience. So this is another type of support that you can provide, okay? Even though it's made up, I have no idea if Harvard ever said that. You can pretend it. No one's going to check, okay? So that's another thing you can do. But each one of these ideas needs support. So a better idea is to stick to 2 maximum and then just support them very well. Let's go to your next paragraph. Secondly, practical knowledge can be obtained by working. No. Practical knowledge can be obtained by working, as university studies are mostly concentrated on theories. Therefore, when scholars work before their studies, it will give them a broader knowledge of what they learn. A recent survey taken in King's College London states that students who have working knowledge understand the concept more meticulously than pupils who continue their studies. All right, here you did a much better job of support, so I liked it. We'll talk more about this later. Finally, while working, scholars can get professional contacts which can help them to widen their network. In this competitive world, it is essential to have a professional network to have an update on the current happenings. Okay. Additionally, this will also help them secure jobs after college completion. Got it. Okay. So, in conclusion, even though some people think that continuing university studies after school is crucial, in my opinion, get rid of the however. Why? Because you already have this even though. So a sentence should not have more than one of these linkers for contrast, either even though or however, but not both. So, even though some people think that continuing university studies after school is crucial, in my opinion, gaining work experience has a significant impact on students. They can be financially and mentally independent. Practical skills can be obtained, which could help them in understanding concepts, and they can have professional contacts in industries. These can help the pupil to succeed in studies and their career. Okay, I didn't love this sentence because it needed to have a parallel structure. And so by that we mean they can be financially and mentally independent. They can be gain practical skills and have professional contacts. Okay, so they can be, they can have, and they can have. That would have been better. All right, so I already told you that we definitely recommend a 4-paragraph structure where you have 2 body paragraphs. That was one thing. Another thing I told you is that you need to support your ideas better. So what I would have done here is I probably would have spent a lot more time supporting the ideas in this paragraph because it was absolutely under-supported. And I probably would have put these 2 paragraphs together into one. So that's that. Essentially, we're talking about issues of coherence and cohesion because paragraphing is graded under that criterion. Another thing that I want to point out to you is some of your linking words. I felt that in some places there were just too many, especially these front position linking words. So front position linking words are those words that go in the beginning of the sentence and they're followed by a comma. And they're considered basically a hallmark of Band 6 writing because they're not particularly fluid. They make the reader stop, and they don't really do a great job of joining your ideas together. Take a look at this. Firstly, besides, moreover, okay? And then secondly, therefore, let's see, finally, in this competitive world, additionally, in conclusion. So you had quite a bit, especially in this paragraph. Elsewhere, I didn't mind it as much, but that's what I'm talking about. I want to see you reduce the usage of some of these and instead use other types of cohesion. There are a lot out there. In fact, if you look through the podcast, you may find one regarding different forms of cohesion, linking words, and things of that nature that will help. Okay, so I see a lot of good things. One of the things that was great is that your grammar was good. It was very good, accurate, no problems. Vocabulary, nothing really stood out as being problematic. I thought you did a very nice job overall. And I thought you did a good job of task achievement as well. What for me was probably the weak link in this essay was your coherence and cohesion. So that's what I would recommend working on. Of course, I would love to see more work from you. I'd love to see what you're doing on different topics. And most certainly, I want to see what you're doing in task 1. So I want to encourage you to sign up maybe for some essay corrections with us so we can see what you're doing in other tasks and give you further feedback for that. Okay, you're definitely on the right track, but I would like to continue working together to make sure that you are absolutely where you need to be and where you should be. All right, so thanks so much for sending this in, and I look forward to seeing more essays from you soon. Good luck.